temple of the Oracle of Delphi. Know thyself. It goes on with a few more words. But in essence, know thyself means to really understand who we are. To understand nature, to understand that we are part of nature, and the same rules that apply to nature apply to us. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Pierre Poulin. He's been with us in Bombay for the last few days. He's presented at a really very inspirational, wonderful photography workshop over the last 2 days. Some of the students actually were present in the crowd, and you may please speak to them about it. And today marks his second event. After today, he will proceed to Bangalore for 2 more events, and that will mark the end of his trip to India this time. Pierre, we welcome you to please begin the evening.
Well, I'm very happy to be here in India, in Mumbai, for this event, for this talk. And I just hope you will understand my English. But you have a chance, I will say, that before yesterday, I had already a workshop, like I have said, in Mumbai, so I practiced a little bit my English. It must be better today. Anyway, if there is questions, I'll speak about more or less, I think, one hour, we shall see. And after, we shall have about half an hour, something like this. Half an hour to time for questions. So if you have a question about the meaning, about the philosophy, about the photo, about the art, or about my English, it will be also a good time. So we shall speak today about bringing differences through the language of art. Not exactly about photography, but well, photography is part of art. And if we understand what is art and what is the meaning of art, photography can be like any other art media to express the art, the meaning of art. And we shall see also that there is a link between art and photography and life. It was just like Aristotle said, philosophy is above all a way of life. To know how to live with meaning, signification, is light, always wisdom. Because philosophy is love of wisdom. But our subject of the talk today is about bridging differences with art. What sort of differences? Well, I've chosen this subject because I'm a philosopher, I'm a photographer, and as a philosopher and as a photographer, I travel a lot. I also, from my own experience, I was born in France, but you can hear this from my accent. But at the age of 30 years old, I transferred myself to Israel. I'm living now 36 years in Israel. And there is a lot of difference between the French mentality and the Israeli mentality. Two different cultures, two different language, two different way of approaching life. And as a photographer, I travel a lot. I was 3 weeks ago in Bulgaria, Budapest. I will be in 2 weeks from now in Spain, Barcelona. And every time you approach another style, another way to live and to relate to life. So, at first glance, when you travel, and when you see, by the way, you don't need to travel a lot physically today, because with the internet and just television, you can also travel and stay in your house. But you will see easily that, at first glance, the world is built from a lot of differences, different cultures, different way of thinking, different mentalities. And this is the first glance. Some of those mentalities will be more nearest from us, another will seem more exotic, strange. language. With some of them, we will be able to understand, to establish dialogue, communication, and also one it will be more difficult. So it seems like the world is more and more like a big puzzle, and every piece of this puzzle has its own signification. But in reality, this is just the first glance, the visible aspect of life. Because, and from a philosophical point of view, if you begin to look under the visible, or further than the first glance, you shall see, you shall encounter the same thing, human beings. Because in a more invisible, or beyond the mask, the first visible aspect, people are people, and human being is human being. And you will understand that, you will discover that human beings are sharing the same emotions, the same tools, the same way to exercise their intellect. They are able the same intelligence or ignorance, it depends, the same intuitions, and the same will. People, Arianto spoke about Plato, people can be just like the slaves from the meat of the cave of Plato in any part of the world. But they can also liberate themselves from the apparency and from the cave and get out and reach their freedom in any place of the world. I mean, it seems to be diversity, but there is in reality a unity. And I think that the fundamental, the basic, the essential unity is the capacity of every one of us to live his life as human being. There's a problem with the microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah? You cannot hear?
We can hear.
Is it possible if I speak like this, it's better, or you have to... It's better? Yeah?
Louder.
Louder?
Yeah.
I can put it more away. Okay, we'll try. So, we say today that the world is like also a global village, maybe with internet, and it seems that there is some uniformity of the culture. But maybe the uniformity, like the diversity, are two traps, two different traps. I mean, diversity can be a trap, because if we identify too much with our own diversity, with our own culture, with our own little parts of the big puzzle, we shall lose our identification to the humanity. But in the other side, if we are trying to cancel our diversity, if we are trying to be only part of this global village, which is in a way quite artificial also, we shall lose our identity, we shall lose our way to express ourselves in our culture in the world, the place where we are. It is just like the concept which exists in the Indian tradition, but I believe you know, most of you. It's about the three gunas. Sattva, which is in the middle, and you have also the two extremes, which are tamas and rajas. In this way, I would say that rajas will be to bring the diversity and to be identified with the diversity, and everyone is different. And when you identify yourself right only with your specificity or your diversity, it is quite easy to fall into some fanatism, some extremism. Because if I see only, and if I identify myself only with my difference, and just my difference is okay, it means that the other one, which has another culture or another difference, are less than myself. Or they are not like myself, but in a way of the scale of values. It's not that they are not like myself and I recognize the difference, but only myself, my identity, I am okay and the other are not. So this is too much. This is not the equilibrium, this is not the harmony. And this will lead in a lack of dialogue and communication between human beings. It is in fact one of the problems, the big problems we have today. We think that the world is a global world, but everyone stays, in his own identity, doesn't want to talk with the other one. They are different. It is easy to fall into this difference. It is not difficult. Why it is easy? Because it is like an extreme of this path, I say online, which going from tamas to rajas. And the extremity is always visible. It's always easy to touch. So it means that the other extremity, if this was rajas, the other extremity is also tamas, is also easy. It's easy also to say there is no difference. It's easy to say I am universal, like everyone, like everybody, and it doesn't matter if I am in New York, if I am in Paris, if I am in Tel Aviv, or if I am in Bombay, I will share the same Coca-Cola, the same McDonald's, the same jeans, the same music, the same culture, and I will make sort of uniformization of the human being. But this is not the trend, because inside the uniformization, nobody can learn from nobody. If you want to improve yourself, if you want to learn, you have to recognize the difference, because nobody will want to learn from somebody which is exactly the same. So it's not just like I have to recognize the difference, just like the rajas. It's that I have to recognize the difference, and I have to accept, to establish dialogue between myself and the one which is different than myself. Because if I see the difference like an opposition, I will not share anything. And if I see the other one just like myself, I will not share, I will not learn, or I will share what I already know what I have. So, in the middle, between the uniformization and between the difference with wall, not physical wall, but wall in the mind, mental wall, there is some dynamic point which is obviously more difficult to reach, and this is sattva. This is the equilibrium. Sattva is a point that we can only reach with consciousness. We can fall in rajas, we can fall in tamas. We can fall in the separation, or we can fall in the uniformization without conscientiousness, without light, without philosophy. And this is a sort of ignorance. But philosophy, or wisdom, or path to wisdom, needs consciousness. And sattva needs consciousness. It is, in a way, the ability, or the human capacity to be myself, to be different from the other, not to fear the other, to communicate with the other, to open a dialogue with the other culture, other people, and to know that despite the difference, we are the same. Why? Because we will be able to foundate, I don't know if it's an English word, but to base, let's say, our inner identity in an upper point, which is to be human. Let me explain you this with an example I saw in Israel. Israel is far from being a perfect society. I don't think there exists a perfect society. Because when something is perfect, just like when a human is perfect, it will not be there. We are here to approach perfection. Also in the Indian tradition, there is the concept of nirvana and reincarnation. So why does the soul reincarnate again and again and again and again and again? Because it is not still perfect, not yet perfect. So he has to come back to approach a little bit more to perfection. But when the soul is perfect, reach the perfection, he doesn't have to come back. There is no need to come back. So if there is no need, he will not be there. So no human is perfect. Because if there was a perfect human, it will not be here. It will be elsewhere, but not here. And just like cultures and societies are built by human, there is no perfect culture. And there is no perfect societies. But they can be philosophical tendencies, philosophical streams inside the cultures or inside the societies. I will not say that there is today philosophical societies. Sadly, I think they don't exist today. Maybe if we learn from history, and if we begin to learn from ancient traditions and civilizations, maybe in the Far East, in the Far West, in Egypt, in Tibet, some 1,000 years ago, there was something more close than this perfection than today. Today it will be the work of individuals. And today, maybe each human being, just like one drop from the ocean, can be, if he wants, if he dares, an example of not of perfection, but of somebody who is making step after step after step after step away through the perfection, even if he knows that he will never reach the perfection. You know, it's just like, allow me, because I am in Bombay, allow me to take another example for the Indian tradition. You have a wonderful book, which is the Bhagavad Gita. And the Bhagavad Gita says, inside the Bhagavad Gita, you have Krishna, who's talking to Arjuna, and he says, you have the right to the action, only to the action, but not to the fruit of the action. And he continues, and he said that, but don't stay even 1 second, it's not exactly the word, it's not as it's not the meaning. Don't stay even 1 second, 1 moment without action. Don't stay inside the inaction. I mean, it doesn't mind if we shall reach this perfection or not. The meaning of life is to go on the path, to go on the way, and to do what we have to do. But to do what we have to do, it may be, in a way, how can I expand my consciousness? And how can I expand my identification? So, I come back to Israel. Israel, let me explain this. Israel is a society built from immigrations. Israel was born in just after the Second World War. And people came, mainly Jews, from all the world. From Europe, but from the East, from America. I'm coming from France. My wife was born in Iraq, Baghdad. You have people from all the world. So you have food from all the world. You have music from all the world. You have mentalities from all the world. And don't think that because most of the people are Jew, even in terms of spirituality, religion is the same. There are many groups, many sects, many between the, what we call the Sepharad Jew, which is the Oriental Jew, the Ashkenaz Jew, which is the European Jew. Sometimes they want to kill one another. You know? So it's just like a big salad with everything, a little oil and a little paper, and a mix of a lot of things. And if everyone was just staying with the identification to his own country, because there is something very changed. When the Jews were outside of Israel, they were not considered as citizens in other countries, but as Jew. For example, in France, they would say not, okay, you are French, they would say you are Jew. And I don't know, my wife in Iraq, she would not say you are Iraqi, but you are Jew. But in Israel, they say, don't say you are Jew, say you are Iraqi, you are French. So it's the opposite. So it will be easy for everyone to say with the identification based on the difference. But no, everyone in Israel is making, or most, not everyone, most of the people are making an effort to base or to found their identification in the Israeli concept. I mean, before being a French Jew, I'm Israeli. Before being an Iraqi Jew, I'm Israeli. Before being an American Jew, I'm Israeli. So, the concept of Israeli, like a nation, allow to make an identification, global identification, and respect the difference. Because we have Israeli, Iraqi, Israeli, French, Israeli, American, etc. So that's just an example. It's not perfect, but it works. Now, let's take the same concept at the level of the humanity. I am Israeli, but before being Israeli, I'm a human being. You are, most of you, Indian, but before being Indian, you're human beings. I have friends in France, they are French, but before being French, they are human beings. And if I would be able to base my identity, my true, the basis, the seed of my identity, in this way that I am, first of all, human being. And as human being, I will express myself with the French or Israeli 50-50% culture, which is what I know. And you will express your humanity through the Indian culture, which is what you are, or what you know. But we are something else. We are the upper level. I mean, we can recognize ourselves not on the same plan. I don't have to be Indian to share with you, and you don't have to be Israeli to share with me. Because the fact that I am Israeli and the fact that you are Indian doesn't cancel the fact that we are all human beings. So we can establish the dialogue at the level of human being. And this is a real challenge. It's not easy. It's a challenge of identification because we have to change a lot of things in ourselves. We have to expand the consciousness. We have to change our habits. It's easy, like I said, to say it in Rajas, to say it in Damas. It's not easy to come in the middle. It's like a real self-education. And that's why this process of self-education is like a philosophical process. We need to feel the need to do this. It's not something that you can force anybody to do this. You have to feel the need to open yourself, to open the heart to other people, to establish dialogue. If you don't want to do this, you will not do this. But the dialogue is most important because it allows something very particular. It allows to transform survival to life. Why? Dialogue is movement. Dialogue is exchange. And life is movement. Life is exchange. One of the characteristics of life here, I mean, not in Bombay, but in this plan of reality, in this physical, visible plan of reality, life is movement. Maybe in another plan, in the spiritual plan, life will be no movement, eternity, without changing. This is the plan of the idea of Plato. This is the plan of the archetypes. The plan of the archetypes. But here, life is movement. If someone is in movement, he is alive. If someone stops to move, he is dead. Water, when water stops, when water doesn't move, at the end it's smell not good, like death. But when water is moving, when you have a streaming, water is bringing new element of life. So we have to be in movement, but not like only in physical movement. We have to be in movement here, and we have to be in movement here, in our heart. Because if we are not in movement, if we do not allow our consciousness to expand, which seems to be the aim of evolution of life, we are dead. I mean, we are dead in a way. We are not physically dead, but let's say that we shall miss the opportunity of life. It is like arriving, I don't know, at the end of this incarnation, looking to the past and saying to ourselves, well, I'm living this life just like I am beginning it. I didn't learn nothing. Maybe I've read a lot of things, a lot of knowledge, but this knowledge, we leave it here in everybody. Maybe I've experienced a lot of emotional things, but all this memory, I will leave it here. My physical body, I will leave it here. My prana, my energy, I will leave it here. So what shall I bring with me? Not what I have, but what I am. This I have with me. What I am. I mean the deeper, the expansion of my consciousness. It's not the knowledge, it's not what I have. I can know something, I can learn something, but everything depends about how shall I relate to this knowledge. And living, to be in life, to be living, to be alive, in English, to be alive is to expand the being, not the having. How can I, consciousness is very strange, because we are not talking here about, in 1 minute I'm going to artistic, that's in the name is art. I didn't forget the subject, yet I have to present it. So, consciousness is about light. In a lot of ancient traditions, the sun is the symbol of consciousness and of life. Why? Because it's light. It is the center which gives the light. And when we're talking about the path of expansion of consciousness, we are talking about the sphere of the light of who we are. And the next step is always a step into the unknown, a step into the shadow. Because what is the next step? The next step is beyond what I am, beyond what I know, beyond what I can see. I cannot see it because this is the limit of my consciousness. If we were talking about the physical path, I can be there and see the next step. And from here, I can decide if I want to go there or not. But it's not like this in life. Because this is behind my consciousness. So I have no way to understand this from here. If I want to understand this, I have to be there. So it's always a movement of being, a movement of expansion. And this is why, because I cannot see it, touch it, analyze it, prove it before. This is why it is so difficult. This is why usually nobody will do this, unless they feel the need. In the Buddhism, which is also one tradition present in India, in the Buddhism they say something very interesting. They say that Buddha, the Tathagata, said once that there is two ways for human being to evolve, to move, to be movement. Two motors, not two ways, two motors, to impulse. Intelligence or pain. I mean, pain, dolor. If we are intelligent, we shall do it. Because we shall understand that it's worse doing it. Problem is, it seems that humanity is lacking a little bit of intelligence. Intelligence doesn't mean intellect. It's something different. Intellect is the capacity to take one idea, another idea, another idea, another idea, and to mix those ideas, and to have a logical path between those ideas, to arrange them in one way or another one. But it's not related to truth. It's enough to hear all the politicians of all the world, India like Israel and other countries, to understand that you can, with the intellect, say something and the contrary. It's very, very easy. It's enough to have a good intellect. Intelligence is not this. Intelligence is the capacity of discernment, the capacity to make the separation between truth and wrong, between light, which is consciousness or life, and shadows, which is no movement this way, or would be also the ignorance. Ignorance, by the way, is one thing which doesn't know about frontiers. Ignorance spread in our world. But as we don't have really the capacity to move ourselves with intelligence, we're waiting. We're not doing it, and we're waiting. And more we shall wait in the state of separation, and instead of lack of dialogue, lack of movement, lack of expansion of ourselves, we shall feel more pain, and more pain, and more pain, and more pain, because slowly, slowly expand in ourselves the necessity to be alive. And we know that there is an effort to do. We know that we have to change our paradigm of life. We have to change the way we are understanding the way we are living our life. And it's difficult because any change of habit is difficult. It's like, to die and to be born. It's not easy to change the habits. But there is a moment when the pain and the need is so strong that we do it. And when somebody do it, usually he will say, how? Now I've jumped, and it's not so terrible. I'm an idiot not having to do this before. But this is life. And maybe next time, all the time after, we shall have a little bit more intelligence and less the pain drive us. So, the aim is to get the unity, the identification of the humanity. I am human being, and as human being I can relate, open a dialogue with everyone. Other human beings, my brothers and sisters in humanity. The problem is that what is it to be human being? What is this unity? What is this truth? What is this truth or this light? What is this unity which makes us the same and different at the same time? When there is no word to tell it. Like there is no real definition for God, for Dharma, for truth, for life, for light. We can explain this with the intellect, but it's not enough. It's not all. It's only words. And when you begin to study ancient philosophies or philosophy of life, you will see that even if we cannot explain or define this unity, we can approach the unity through some of its characteristics, some of its values, some of its properties. For example, the right, the just, the good, and the beautiful. And the beautiful is one of the characteristics or expression of art. I mean, if reality is one, from a philosophic point of view, if reality is one, if something is beautiful, it cannot be unjust. It cannot be not good, because it is the same. If the one expresses itself in the physical world, it will be right, it will be just, it will be good, it will be beautiful. Because, again, the reality is one. So, not beautiful in a way, I think, from my personal opinion, that this is beautiful. Because somebody else can say, I think from my personal opinion that this is not beautiful. I'm not talking about this subjective opinion. And here we have the problem. Here you have the real problem about what is art. And is it possible to define art? Is it possible to define art from an objective manner? Let's go back to the philosophical aspect. From a philosophical point of view, again, reality is one. We are all sharing the same reality. One world, one dharma, one reality. Of course, we are, every one of us, expressing our own opinion. That's normal. Every one of us will see this reality, will understand this reality in its own way. And it is good that it is not exactly the same. Because of this, we can learn one from the other one and share the difference. But again, it is the same reality. We are not, every one of us, in parallel realities. This is science fiction movie. This is the same reality, the same world. So the problem is there inside us as human beings something, some level of consciousness which can allow us to be more objective and subjective. And when you begin to learn, to study, to touch those philosophy of life, secret philosophy, ancient philosophy, you discover that maybe yes. For example, we are in India. One aspect of some ancient Indian philosophy is talking of seven, it's only four, I cannot say seven in one hand, so seven, this is this, seven plane of reality. And then we called it from the first one to the last one, from the most spiritual to the most physical, Atma, Buddhi, Manas, Kama Manas, Linga, Prana, Shula. Which means three plans which are beyond our consciousness, what they call Atma, Buddhi, Manas. Or if I say this in English, more or less, I would say the will, the one, the unity, Atma, Buddhi, the intuition. But intuition is not, I feel that, I believe that, maybe, no. Intuition, Buddhi is light, is I know. I don't know how I know, but I know. I don't know how I see, but I see. It's the light, the inner light. And Manas is intelligence. It's not to know. It's to know this differentiation that we talk about between what is right and what is not right. This is not subjective. Manas means an objective action of the mind. But we are not here. We are in the four lower plan. Shula, our physical roof, a physical body, prana, the life, the energy that makes us move, to move our body, linga, or our emotions, and kama manas, which is the mental into the emotion, into the astral, kama, which is the intellect. And we are analyzing life with this, with the tools we have, we're conscious of these tools. But you know what? If I take another tradition, like the Roman tradition or Latin tradition, they're talking exactly this form, but they say it in another way. They say, this is the personality. Every one of us has his own personality, which is the physical body, the energy, the emotion, and the intellect. This is the personality of human being. But what means personality? In Latin, because it comes from the Latin, persona means mask. If this is our personality, it is our mask. So if this is our mask, who are we? Well, we are the actor behind the mask. And when we are coming in life, when we are reborn, we just like, we put a mask. Just like the actor is coming, on the stage, put a mask, play his game, Shakespeare or what you want, and the stage and put mask after. So we are, who are we? If we are not our physical body, energetic body, emotions and intellect. If we use only those four plans, and if we analyze the world with those four, and I say, I like this is art, this is beautiful, I like this, it stays the level of kama, manas and linga, emotion and intellect, so it will be always subjective. But if I can put this apart, and if I can awake Buddhi, the light, what is able to see with objectivity, and we recognize something beautiful because it will transcend the beauty and will transcend the opinion and the subjectivity of the opinion. And maybe my personality will not like it, but it doesn't matter. Let me give you another example. I'm managing in Israel School of Philosophy, New Acropolis, just like Yaron here is director of the New Acropolis School of Philosophy in Bombay. In Israel, we have today about 300 members in this school. And if I look to the 300 people at the level of my personality, I can say that most of those people, if I didn't know them, if I was crossing them in the street, I would never have talked to them. Because my personality is so different from their personality. So if I stay in the subjectivity of the personality, this will be beautiful for me and really not beautiful for somebody else, and in the middle for a certain person. Because it is at the middle of the personality. Somebody will recognize the beauty in this and somebody else will not. But if we are able to higher the level of consciousness and to recognize that even if the personality is so different, we are all human beings and we are all philosophers. So we share the same thing. And I said that truth, beautiful, justice, good, right are some objective values, some objective characteristic of the archetype. The only problem is that we don't know how to recognize them. That's the only problem. Why do you think that if you go to the Louvre Museum in Paris, you have a queue of 3 kilometers sometimes of people who just want to see the Gioconda of Leonardo da Vinci? Even if today we don't paint with the same technique, we don't paint with the same perspective. It's not in the fashion, it's not modern. but still there is something which appeals to people. And they come not just because it is famous, they come, they look at this and they say, wow, I don't know why, there is something, I don't know what, but wow. Because there is something universal. And it's not that you have something which is so strong and so universal, like maybe the Gioconda of Da Vinci, that everybody will recognize it. On the other hand, you have something which is only the expression of the personality, so it's not art. And nobody will not recognize it. No, it's not like this. Because this would be like Rajas and Damas. It is always in the middle. It is so when we as artists or pseudo-artists, when we make a production of something, will be a photography, will be a book, will be a music, will be a sculpture, will be, I don't know, a way of life. There is in general some of this and some of this, some of the actor and some of the personality. 50-50 or 60-40 or 70-30, you know, that's life. So, the problem and the challenge is how can I, as artist, make myself more transparent, more transparent, more transparent, more transparent in the way of my productions as artist will be more and more the result of my individuality and not my personality, of the archetype which is going in my humanity, which is going through me and expressed through my body, but not the result of what my personality, my mask wants. A lot of artists today, or I say artists, more or less artists, called artists, wants to do something different, want to do something new. But wait a minute. If beauty, if truth already exists, and I believe so, why do you want to do something different? What do you want to? Why would we want to do something different than truth, or than beauty, or than harmony, or than the good, or the right, or the just? Remember the ancient Egyptian artists? There was a canon, a way to do the art. And they always made the thing the same way. It's not just because I can move this or something like this. But, I mean, they didn't want to do new things. They want to do the best thing. The more transparent, the more close to the archetype. Because if the production is not personal, it will be more universal. That's a problem. We cannot do at the same time universal and personal. That's a big problem. We can express the universality through our personality. Yes? And we must do this. We cannot express it through another way. Why? Because this is the personality I have in this incarnation, and I don't have another one. I cannot change this. This is what I have. So if I want to express the universality, I have to express it through this mask. Physical, energetical, emotional, and intellect. I cannot use another one. But it doesn't have to be the expression of the mask. It can be the expression of the humanity or the universal through the mask. And this makes a difference. So, is this art? Is this art? I don't know. I don't know. Because who am I to judge? It doesn't matter. If people are looking at this or other and feel something deeply in their art, not in their personality, but beyond the personality, feel something that will approach them to the beautiful, it will awake something inside those individuals, which is linked to justice, which is linked to harmony, which is linked to wisdom, because it's the same thing. And this is what is important, not if today I can tell, okay, I can define this like art or not like art. This doesn't matter. And again, here also, as artists, we have the right to do action. Only the action, not the product of the action. What imports me when I take pictures, you know, it's not to show the pictures. Well, it's nice to show the pictures, but it's not the most important. The most important is when I'm in the street with my camera, which is here, and 15mm, which is the only one, nearly the only one I use. I have to be close to people. And it's a little process. Okay, I have to face my fear to be close to people. I have to look at them. They will see me. I have to catch a dialogue from word to word. I have to be invisible. I have to be close and not to disturb. And this is a process that makes me more human. And again and again and again and again, it's never ends. Every day is a new challenge. And this is the philosophical process of life, because it makes me every day be a little bit more human, a little bit more extended, a little bit more human. And after, did I succeed to produce art? Is this art, or is this only the production of my personality? Really? I don't care. I don't care. If it helps you to be more human, great. If not, go to another place. But I live the process, and this is what is important. So, this is a way to, this is a way to express the archetype good of beautiful through the art. Now, last thing. As a photographer, I need to get some words like photographer, but photography is not only the only media of art. But I found something very interesting in photography. I don't say that other media are not good or not artistic. I love music, I love reading, like this. Like that? Better? Okay. But you know what? I am not only photographer, I am also philosopher. I'm not only philosopher, I'm also photographer. It makes it difficult. Somebody gave me the name of new profession. Said, you are a FIFO. FIFO is philosopher, photographer. That's new. FIFO Academy. Same thing with the name of the dog. FIFO, come here, FIFO. I don't care. So, in philosophy, which is, again, love of wisdom. Wisdom is consciousness. And consciousness is light. Ignorance is shadow, lack of light. All the maths in philosophy is how not to understand the light. This is intellectual philosophy. How to be light. How to be more the light. Because I think that the philosopher is somebody which will emanate, bring his life, his light, give light, but he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to be. Just like the sun doesn't do something. We have light, those lights. They're not moving, they're not doing anything. They just have to be, and they give light. Not the same thing. Because of this, it's about being, not doing. And light allows to make things visible. We can see each other because there is light. Philosophical meaning, we can understand because there is consciousness. It's the same thing. Now, what is photography? Photography is about light and shadows. And photography, for me, the challenge I take in photography is how can I make visible the invisible? Because the essential for me photography is not what you see. This is the visible. It was going through this. The sentiment, not the emotion. The sentiment which is going through this. The body, the heart, the light. If there is an invisible archetype, sentiment of justice, reality, truth, how can I make it visible? How can I pass it through a visible soul? And it seems a challenge impossible, you know, how to make visible the invisible. But maybe because it seems an impossible challenge, it works. It's interesting. And maybe because it seems like an impossible challenge, maybe I will never reach it. That's great. Because if I will never reach it, every day I have another step to do. I will never arrive to time when I say, okay, I've done it, so now what? No, I will never get it. So every day there is another one until the last day. So it's very good because life is also here the idea of the past, not to reach one point. And make visible the invisible is something which is linked to, well, to the archetype of Buddhi, Manas Buddhi. I think with art, more than intelligence, is something about sentiment. And I would like to end, give sometimes the questions, with maybe definition or differentiation between sentiment and emotion. Emotion is very personal. Emotion is something which is related to personality, to the past. Emotions are temporary, can be very strong. Like for example, I am, how do you say in English, Cass. Yes, anger. Not hungry, anger. Anger. Somebody makes me angry. It looks like volcano. But after 5 minutes, sentiment is always there. But it's in the invisible plan. So it's not really present. It's there, but we are not really conscious. It's the need that one will have for justice. The need that one will have for beauty, for harmony, for liberty, for freedom. It's here. It's here. It's always there. It's never left us, but it's very subtle. It's very subtle. And it's so subtle that sometimes comes the emotion, and we lost the consciousness of the sentiment, of the strength of the emotion. So art is about sentiment, not about emotion. And we have to be more consciousness of our sentiment, which are related to Buddhi, and not our emotions, which are related to Liga. We have to find maybe something about our eternity in ourselves. I believe that art, like philosophy, can do this. And that art, like philosophy, can make us more human, more universal. And in this way, to bridge the difference, and close the cycle, to bridge the difference between the cultures and between the societies and between the individualities. And to give us the ability to say, okay, I am different from you. I have my individuality. I am who am I, and I am not you. But I am your brother, and you are my brother and my sister, because we are all human beings. I can learn something from every one of you, and every one of you can learn something from me. Because we can establish dialogue, a human dialogue, because of our difference. I mean, difference does not mean separation. Again, in the Buddhism, Buddha said that the most strong illusion, the most dangerous illusion in the Maya, in the illusion, is the illusion of separation. So if art can help us not to fall in this illusion of separation, well, I think it's a good thing. And it's worth trying to develop inside our heart the sentiment of art, which is a sentiment of justice, a sentiment of beauty, and a sentiment of humanity. Thank you very much. And if there is any question, I am at your service. Yes? Maybe I give you the microphone.
Loud enough then.
No, but they will not.
Basically spoke about the Raja and the Tamas, and you spoke about how it's all about diversity, and you said that there you just share your unique self, just your part of your characteristics. It's very personal. And in the Tamas you share everything. I didn't quite understand the difference between the Rajas and the Tamas.
Okay, thank you. What I mean, it may be because of my English. It's not simple. What I mean is, from one part, let's say like this. This is Tamas. This is Rajas. I don't mean you, okay? I mean this. Sattva is there. Here you have uniformity. And uniformity will prime. I mean, everybody is the same and there is no difference. It's an illusion. Because of this, it's not Sattva. It's not the reality. But it's to say that there is no difference because we share the same McDonald's, the same Coca-Cola, the same music, the same culture, the same global village. And in this position where everybody thinks that all the other one are exactly like him, nobody can learn from anybody, and nobody can teach to anybody. And this is a situation when you have uniformization from below. From beneath? No, from below. Uniformization from below. I mean, the most common factor is what we all share. It's always the minimum factor. I don't want to enter into politics, but it's something that we can see sometime in the way communist societies express themselves. We have uniformization, all the same. So you cannot learn, you cannot express yourself. On the other side, you have another danger. You have the capacity, Rajas, to understand the difference, to recognize the difference. But it's only the difference if there you have only I am the same, and there is no difference, which is an illusion. Here you have, I am only different, I have nothing to share, which is another extremism or another illusion. So you cannot learn and you cannot teach, because there is no dialogue. So the equilibrium, Sattva, is the place where you have the same, which is I share the humanity, we are all human beings, but we have also difference, we are all different, so we can teach and learn one from the other. Okay? Better English.
Hi. Looking at a piece of art, how do I come to know, like I would say it's beautiful, but how do I come to know it's not my emotion, but it's the sentiment? How do I differentiate it's not an emotion, but it's sentiment?
Simple answer, you cannot. More elaborate answer, you have to know yourself. But to know yourself, it's a process. It's not something that you can learn in a book. It's a way of life. And to know yourself means to know when you are acting from the mask or from your individuality. When you are acting from your objectivity or from your subjectivity. It's not only to know it, it's to be able to do it. I mean, you need three things. You need to know what to do. You need to feel the need to do it, what you know what is right to do. And you need to be able to do it. And this is why it's quite complicated. Well, it's not quite complicated, but it's not so simple. It is what was called in ancient time the initiation or initiation human process of death and repose to another reality, another state of consciousness. This is what the ancient called the mysteries. They were existing in Tibet, not far from here, also in Egypt, not far from here. And there were extinctions in other cultures like India, like Greece, and all that. But it's mysteries because you cannot really explain this process. Mystery means silence. The mist, which is a Greek word, is the one who cannot talk. Why cannot you talk about this? Not because it is a process which is reserved to some elite and you don't want to share it. But it's better not to talk about it because our mind can understand something. So if I begin to explain the process of mysteries, you will understand something. But what you will understand is different than the process itself. Let's give me an example. Imagine that you don't know what is love. I hope for you that you know. But imagine that you don't know what is love. And you ask me, Pierre, can you explain me what is love? Well, I don't know if I am qualified, but let's say, if I would explain you what is love, I can tell you, okay, it is this and this and this and this and this and this. And if I do it in a pedagogical way, maybe you will understand something. So you will say, okay, now I understand what is love. So what is the danger? The danger is that you will say, okay, now that I have understand what is love, I don't need to practice love because I understand it. So you will miss the main point, which is not understanding, which is being it, living it. That's why we don't talk about the mysteries. Because if you talk about the mystery, the danger is that people will understand and this will keep the need to be it. So let's keep it a mystery. Another one. The same one.
Okay, and one more thing, like throughout the whole talk, you talked about wisdom, and then you said wisdom is consciousness. Why would you say wisdom is consciousness? I'm a bit out there.
What is it for you, wisdom?
I think it's more than consciousness. It's just more than what is right and what's wrong.
What?
I think it is knowing a little more than that, and then to decide, oh, what do you think is the right or the wrong.
I think that wisdom is two things. When we talk about wise guy, wise people, or wise man, we're talking about someone who is a step further in consciousness than ourselves. Consciousness, I don't mean that he knows you more. I mean that he is more. Okay? Like I consciousness is light. So people more transparent. Somebody more transparent, somebody with less identification to his personality and more to his individuality. But this is only one step of consciousness, of wisdom, that we can understand because we cannot see until the top of the hill. The top of the hill is so high, it's beyond the clouds. And today with the new song, we cannot see it. So we see only one step further. When we climb, we can see that there is another step. I believe that humanity is like a chain. If there is difference between humans, difference doesn't mean that we are all the same level. It means that some of us have achieved a little bit more transparency and some of others. And I think that every one of us can learn from a master and can teach to disciples. I don't think that there is one human being which is so little that he doesn't have nothing to teach to others. And there is no one which is so high that he cannot learn from others. Every one of us is in one way between. Some people he can learn from, some people he can teach from, to teach them. So this is the movement. The movement makes the movement of life. Because if I learn and teach, which in reality is the opposite, I must first teach, create vacuum, vacuum and allow me to learn. Because of this, the first thing is devotion, is teaching. After to learn. But this is another lecture, another talk, something else. Wisdom, ultimately, is the reunification with the light, reification with the one. And it is something that we can maybe qualify like magic. In which way? In ancient Persia, wise men were called mag. Mag, which comes the word magia, magic. The mag are the wise. And magic is to know the law of nature and to act according with the law of nature. Because if you understand the laws of nature, not only the visible or the intellectual law, all the law of nature, nothing, never will oppose yourself, your will, your sentiments. Because you're going, if you choose to respect the law of nature, you're going with the stream. So nature will serve you. This is the wise man. This is wisdom. But it begins by consciousness, because I have to be conscious of those laws. I have to be conscious of this light. So it doesn't mean that if I open my consciousness, I will be wise man. But it's the first step. It begins here. It doesn't stop here. Maybe what is fantastic in this process is that you always know when it begins and know when it doesn't, where does it stop. So it's not annoying. It's annoying. No, it's not. It's a process where every day you can be more. Every day you can be more transparent. Every day you can be more alive. Every day you can approach this idea or archetype. Well, yes, last question.
You mentioned about Buddhism, and you said that two ways about intelligence and pain. My question is it possible to be intelligent without pain?
I think that pain leads to intelligence. I mean that intelligence arrives when we have the intelligence to do what we have to do before the coming of the pain. Because why does arrive the pain? The pain arrives when we don't do what we have to do. It is said that the stream of life is like the Dharma. The Dharma is the reason and the cause and the effect of everything. There is so as cause and effect. The karma is something else. Let's talk about the Dharma. And there is a concept which is sva Dharma, which is personal Dharma, which doesn't mean, like somebody people think, that I have Dharma or law different than the other one because I have my sva Dharma. No, it's the same Dharma, it's the same law, it's the law of the reality, of the law of the evolution of the humanity. But my sva Dharma is where am I on the Dharma? Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Or am I here? If I am at the beginning, I am conscious of myself. I'm not of the other one. It doesn't mean that I don't recognize other people. It means that my need, I have the need of my personality. And if I have a brother, if I have a sister, if I have a daughter, if I have a daughter in English, the opposite of daughter? Son, sorry. If I have a son, sometimes the words are funny. And his need or her need is not my need. It's his problem or her problem, it's not my problem. This is my sva. And with evolution, I arrive to a place where my sva Dharma is to be conscious of me, myself, and the cycle around me, my family, my friends. And here I will be conscious of myself, my family, and my community. And here I will be conscious of me, myself, my family, my community, and all humanity. So, the pain arrives when I don't act according to my sva Dharma. If I am here to be conscious of myself, my family, and my community, and I am trying to do less, and because of egoism, I don't relate or I don't pay attention to the need of my community, I will have pain. But the same guy which is here, or another guy, if he's here, and do the same thing, he will not feel pain, because for him it's normal. This is why we have to know ourselves. And I'm coming back to the same question. So, to vanish the pain, we have to know ourselves. To know ourselves, we have to begin the process of internal alchemy, transformation. And this leads to the intelligence who will kill the pain. This is the process of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pierre. Can I just invite Yaron Bhartilai, our director in India of Necropolis, our teacher, and Pierre's student. Yaron.
Thank you. I won't be long, it's not a lecture, just want to say a word of thanks to Pierre. Yeah. Thanks for such a wonderful lecture and talk. And I would like to, before giving a token of appreciation, if something of what Pierre spoke about, maybe through art or philosophy or something of the sentiment, not just emotion, touch something inside, then I welcome you to meet us at New Acropolis. We have a center in Kulaba, which I know it's very, very far, but it's not that far. We have another center also in Bangalore, and of course around the world. And just a beautiful opportunity because we have a course that's called World of Wisdom, And we don't have so many of it. We have 3 or 4 like that, and one that we are about to start just the end of June. It's actually an opportunity to do a voyage. So it's kind of a present. A voyage of 4 weeks. 4 months. And I don't know how much you ever did 4 months of voyage. It's a wonderful time to travel, but to travel without moving so far. So you only need to stay in Kulaba, once a week. And this is a voyage because I like to call it a voyage because we follow what Pierre said. We are trying to do a quick journey through different cultures, philosophies, and art, and different perspectives about something which is maybe not different really, but one world of wisdom, which is our wisdom. Who we are, where we're coming from, what do we need to do, what potential we have, what is beauty, but not intellectually, yes, like Pierre said, something to experience. And, well, the benefit of it, for me, it changed my life. Well, to know yourself, to learn, but to be honest, maybe the best gift that you can take from it is to be a philosopher, which means to have a wonder. And if one have really wonder to learn, not intellectual, but wonder, like Einstein spoke about science, believe it or not, but that's what I can share with you, it's the best gift that one can have, because if you have a wonder to life, and life is everywhere, then what do you need more? So we'll have this course starting at 27, yes, every Wednesday at 7:30, 2 hours, so not too hard. And if you want to have a taste of it, welcome you this Saturday at our center from 6 to 8. We'll have what we call a simple philosophy practical seminar. We can have a little bit of a taste of what do you mean by philosophy. Thank you very much. And do we have?
Just a token of our appreciation. This event really would not have been possible without the partnership of certain very, very humble, very beautiful people. To start off, this venue, the Sutra, Mr. Bajaj and his wonderful daughter, who's also a member of our organization, Mythologies. This would obviously not have been possible. The wonderful snacks and wines from SR Foods and from Fratelli Wines. I hope the representatives of both organizations have been able to make it here. And of course, our collaborative partners, Better Photography. I thank you, all of you. Please continue to become partners and stay partners so that events like this are possible to the open public in Bombay. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.